Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese kind of sounds a little bit like the conversation you just had about wanting the spotlight. This is what I said about it, and I love it. I want to see them going at it. I want to see them playing physical. I want to keep this racist crap off the court where it belongs. Some jamoke wants to talk like that, then go home. I don't want to hear it. I love this rivalry. I am here for every single second of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not a rivalry. Not when you lose about 35 points.
That's true.
It's not rivalry. Indiana Fever's on a different level than Chicago Sky. Let's get that out the way.
Stephen A. Smith states, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese isn't even close to a real rivalry, but he's not the only one calling it out. Dan Patrick also notes that Clark, not Ree, is the true reason the WNBA is receiving this much attention. Analysts frequently highlight Clark's exceptional talent and dedication, implying that Reese's notoriety primarily stems from her relationship with Clark.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates, so she's made it personal.
However, why does Angel Reese call this dynamic historic, and how does her villain role fit into the story? Smith's perspective is going to get much more blunt, so be sure to press subscribe and leave a comment on who you believe wins.
Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlin Clark as a player. Caitlin Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that. Angel Reese can rebound the basketball. She's a damn good player. She's got a bright future in the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is next level. That's number two.
Look, Smith's main argument is that Caitlin Clark is playing at a different level, and he's not just talking about highlight reels. He cites Clark's NCAA tournament scoring record-breaking performance and the way she broke Iowa's all-time scoring record as evidence that Clark isn't just good. She's changing what people expect from a college basketball star. Smith cites her court vision and her ability to score in clutch, high-pressure situations as the qualities that make her look like a pro even before she enters the WNBA. Smith doesn't stop at statistics. He gets right to the heart of what makes a rivalry real. It's not a rivalry when you're being blown out by 35 in reference to the Chicago Sky's crushing defeat to the Indiana Fever. He states that, in Smith's opinion, that kind of disparity shows that these two players aren't truly on the same pitch. He adds that, regardless of the amount of online hype surrounding Angel, when one player is outperforming the other by that much, it can't be called a rivalry. Reese Smith acknowledges her skill and acknowledges that she is a very excellent player, but he is honest about the source of her reputation.
Number three, Caitlin Clark's or Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlin Clark. Because when Caitlin Clark was busy taunting opponents a couple of years back before LSU smacked Iowa around in the national championship game or so, it was Angel Reese that was clapping back at Caitlin Clark once it was Caitlin Clark's turn to have her comeuppance. And that's what made Angel Reese famous.
In his opinion, according to him, Angel Reese's popularity is largely due to her behavior towards Caitlin Clark, which is distinct from dominating the court game after game. This is especially true of her interaction with Clark during the NCAA championship game and the subsequent social media discussion. Smith contends that creating a legacy through performance is distinct from participating in a viral moment.
But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark. Now, you might, if you stay long enough, maybe you'll see something or someone that you go, okay, I'm entertained by this. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that you watch a sport because of one singular person. People watch golf because of Tiger.
That's the main distinction for him. Ree is riding the wave of attention those moments generate, while Clark is rewriting the record books. Smith also notes that Clark stands out due to her approach to the game. He characterizes her as laser-focused, the type of player that is all about working hard, leading her team, and being there when it counts most. Smith claims that while Clark's teammates support her because of her consistency and ability to step up in crucial situations, he doesn't observe the same level of consistent dominance from Ree. Ree is obviously talented, but Smith contends that her reputation is based more on individual performances than on a history of dominating games.
These are not players of the same stature. They're not it. Like,
And that's not an insult to Angel Reese.
No. Caitlin Clark's different, right? Like I think that's something that a lot of people just need to come to terms and understand here is much of the why Caitlin Clark and not other people is that the other people are not Caitlin Clark. Like strictly talking about this is basketball. She's it.
Dan Smith isn't by himself here. Patrick reiterates many of these ideas when he states, Clark, not Ree, is responsible for the true increase in WNBA attention. Patrick asserts, the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark. Another way to put it is that Clark is the one influencing the dialogue and the ratings for the league as a whole, not just for her own team. If Clark is so great, then why is Ree embracing the story and calling it historic? Let's hear her side of the story.
She made a lot of money NIL-wise for last year.
Angel, instead of avoiding the label, Reese is using it. She stated, I'll take that roll the bad guy role and go down in history for it. Ree isn't avoiding the spotlight. Rather, she is jumping straight into it and making her goals known. Ree's role as the so-called villain isn't a setback. Rather, it's a strategy to maintain women's basketball at the forefront, even if it means absorbing the heat. She isn't only responding to what people say, she is consciously working to take control of the story and make it something more than herself.
But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball. She is a social media star, and she has capitalized on that. And maybe she embraces being the villain. But make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark is the reason why everybody has an opinion on what happened in that game.
She has noted that all of this attention began with the national championship game, when she gave Caitlin Clark the "you can't see me" clap back, and all of a sudden, everyone was talking about Angel Reese. She is aware of the precise impact that moment had on both her profile and the sport.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
Negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly I'll take that because look where women's basketball is, Reese said, acknowledging that she is intentionally playing into the villain character because she sees how attention, even negative attention, is drawing attention. According to her calculations, the rivalry isn't just about two players on the court. It's about creating something greater for everyone watching. If being Clark's foil increases the number of people watching the game, then it's worth it. She's willing to be the person that people love to hate if it means the sport grows.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
But here's where things get complicated. Is this self-made villain playing smart brand building, or is it a sidestep from the real on-court rivalry? Next, we break down what Monty Jones had to say. When you zoom out, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese isn't just about basketball anymore. It's entangled in deeper issues and all sorts of online drama. However, Manny Jones has called the atmosphere surrounding this storyline nearly unbearable, pointing out that the constant drama and
there is a magic bird element, obviously, to these two players. The problem, Angel Reese ain't no Magic Johnson.
Good player, not Magic Johnson.
Johnson-Jones draws a striking parallel to the rivalry between Bird and Magic, but with a twist that really speaks to what's going on. He imagines that society would have exploded if Bird and Magic had played in the same conference. That's how explosive the Clark-Reese matchup feels online. Rather than just applauding two stars pushing one another, the emphasis has shifted to taking sides and igniting controversy. Although Jones views Reese as her opponent and Clark cast as the dominant star, the manner that fans discuss them extends well beyond basketball.
Catchings. I mean, there are so many great players, but maybe they didn't capture your imagination. Caitlin Clark has. People watched. Now everybody wants to have an opinion on this. And that's where it clutters, muddies up everything that the women have tried to do. They've been there. You just haven't noticed.
At the heart of this are perception and race. Jones wonders if a black athlete could have achieved the same level of popularity as Caitlin Clark and is unsure if there is even a comparable occurrence. He notes that Clark's success isn't only down to her skill. Her race also influences how people view her. In the meantime, Rhea receives criticism for being authentically herself, and the response she receives frequently feels worse. Jones claims that the way fans react exposes a lot about expectations and unfair practices in athletics.
What is your rivalry? There is none. And I do appreciate a good rivalry. Like baseball had the Red Sox and the Yankees, which wasn't really a rivalry because the Yankees always won until the Red Sox won. Now you have a rivalry. Like the Giants and the Dodgers, rivalry. But you don't have many of them. And I love to have that where you tune in because it just feels like it's more than just a game. There's tension there. These guys don't like each other. These women don't like each other. I'm fine with that. It's competition.
He highlights a pivotal moment to illustrate how these dynamics play out. For example, when Clark made the walkaway glare earlier in the tournament, the fans praised it and called her fiercely competitive. However, when Rhea responded with her own gesture, things became physical with a push and a rebound tussle, and Jones claims it felt like World War II. He claims that it felt like World War II, and that people now view and evaluate the same actions differently depending on who is performing them. That moment became a flashpoint, demonstrating how quickly the conversation shifts from the game itself to arguments about respect, personality, and race.
Spinning, right? Like this thing that happened with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese this last time, it was a basketball tussle between two people that I don't think like each other. Okay, I don't think that's so big.
Jones delves even farther into the relationship between these sportsmen and their supporters. He discusses the rivalry's parasocial aspect, which involves people projecting their own personalities, viewpoints, and annoyances onto Clark or Rhea. Fans argue as though the conclusion alters something personal for them, and every play turns into a referendum on larger problems. The ultimate effect is a poisonous online environment where support for one player can feel like an attack on the other, and the discussion only gets more heated.
I can't stand you. I can't. And the biggest reason I can't stand online WNBA discourse, it's hardly ever about basketball. Even when it doesn't involve these two. It just does not feel when I consume the things that I see. And maybe I'm hanging out in the wrong places, and maybe I'm hanging out in the wrong circles. That's why I'm coming here asking y'all for a little bit of help. It hardly ever seems to be about basketball.
Women's basketball has undoubtedly gained more viewers as a result of all this attention. Jones acknowledges that attention is more focused than ever on drama and conflict, but he fears that this could eventually harm the league as fans stop discussing basketball in favor of the issue. Jones claims that he wants to appreciate the sport for what it is, but the incessant online chatter makes that nearly impossible. As a result, although Clark-Reese's rivalry is increasing viewership, it is also diverting attention from the game and the athlete's skill, which is where the effects of all the drama become evident and a question that every fan must consider moving forward.
Do you think that Angel Reese is very calculated recently with what she's doing? And I'm complimenting her. She made a lot of money NIL-wise her last year at LSU. And it feels like she's embracing this role and leaning into it, and even leaning into any criticism of her comments because she knows it's going to pay her back because she can't make money on the floor in the WNBA.
Whatever you call it, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have had an indisputable impact on women's lives. Stephen A. Smith claims that their combined influence is advancing the WNBA, while Dan Patrick clarifies that Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese, is responsible for this upsurge. He even likens Clark's impact to Tiger Woods' impact on golf, which is the level of attention we're discussing at the moment. Let's avoid getting sucked into rivalry talk and instead recognize how both have permanently altered how we watch women's basketball. Please leave a comment indicating whether you agree more with Smith Reese or Monty Jones. Also, Remember to subscribe for a more thorough analysis of the WNBA.